Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Fabs here, and it's that time of the week. Waiver Wire Tuesday, and with that, Jen Piacenti, of course, from Sports Illustrated Fantasy and Betting is on the call. Jen, let's talk about some of the top players to add off the waiver wire this week, starting with the quarterback position and an old veteran who could help you in Week 6.
That veteran, of course, is Matt Stafford, who now has all of his weapons back. It was great to see Cooper Kupp back in action, and it's clear he is still the top dog. But now Matt Stafford has a ton of young talent all around him. Tutu Atwell, Puka Nacua, Kyron Williams, and he's still got good, steady Tyler Higbee as well. But perhaps even more importantly, this week his matchup is with the Arizona Cardinals, who have allowed the fourth most fantasy points and the fourth most passing yards to opposing quarterbacks. Meanwhile, Matt Stafford has the fourth most passing yards in the NFL. So it is a match made in heaven. Pick up Matt Stafford, especially if you're streaming this weekend.
Yeah, Sam Howell could also still be floating around there on the waiver wire after his big game last week against the Bears. Next up, the running back position, and the Chicago Bears have a couple of options there that fantasy managers might want to pick up.
So I'm putting Roschon Johnson as the priority here. Now, bear in mind, he has a concussion, but because the game was played on Thursday last week, he has a pretty good chance of returning this Sunday. Roschon Johnson is someone we would have all heard a lot more about coming into the season if he hadn't been stuck behind a running back named Bijan Robinson at UT. Roschon is very talented. He's been averaging 4.9 yards per carry. He's caught 11 of his 12 targets this season. And the fact is, Herbert's going to be out for a few weeks. Donta Foreman has been a healthy scratch in 4 games this season already. So, yes, he will be involved in the game plan moving forward. But unless Roschon Johnson is out, I'm not starting him as a preference. I'm taking Roschon Johnson first. So keep your eye on that. But in deeper leagues, Donta Foreman is also an add.
Yeah, I think Foreman should be added across the board, too. Really good matchup coming up this week against Minnesota. And, you know, with the concussions, I know he'll have some extra time, but sometimes those could be a bit tricky, which could leave Foreman as the lead back. So make sure you keep tabs on the status of the Bears running backs. And then another name, Amari DeMarcado. In Arizona, I'm not even sure if I pronounced his name correctly, but you get the gist. James Conner hurt his knee. DeMarcado could end up being the guy for the Cardinals against the Rams. Now moving on to the wide receiver position, and you're targeting a player who was on a bye last week.
Yeah, and that's a lot of the reason why we're targeting him. He may have been dropped when people were making moves last week, or maybe he just wasn't picked up. I think he's about 41% rostered, so I understand it's a little less likely that he's available, but Joshua Palmer is the guy I have my eye on this week, even though he's facing the Cowboys. We wanted to know what they would do in the absence of Mike Williams, and Joshua Palmer answered that call 2 weeks ago when he led the team in targets, and he also caught 3 of those targets for 77 yards. So we know Keenan Allen is still going to be the top guy, but maybe Joshua Palmer slides right into that wide receiver 2 spot. And the fact is, this Kellen Moore offense is vertical and juicy, and he's got one of the best quarterbacks in the league. So I like prioritizing Palmer this week if available. Of course, if not, you know, you can go a little further down the list. You can look at Wan'Dale Robinson. Maybe Jamison Williams is available. DJ Chark could be out there. There's quite a few guys, but no one really exciting. Josh Downs is certainly interesting, especially if Gardner Minshew takes over at quarterback, which he should be at least for the next few weeks because we are not getting good news about Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, Rashee Rice also out there in a lot of leagues. And if Justin Jefferson's hamstring injury keeps him out, KJ Osborn is a really good play this week. At tight end, Logan Thomas had a massive game last week against the Chicago Bears. He is the top add at that position, Jen.
Yeah, Logan Thomas has made our list before, and last week I think I said he hasn't scored fewer than 7 PPR points in any game he's played. Well, that held true. This week instead, he scored 21 and was the tight end 4 heading into Monday Night Football. He's actually the tight end 9 now for this season, even though he's only played 4 games. What's so interesting about Thomas is that he has the second highest target share for the Washington Commanders, even though they have plenty of able pass catchers. So I like Thomas. He actually also leads the Commanders with receiving touchdowns. He has a pair. The other receivers only have 1 apiece.
Good matchup this week, too, against Atlanta. So pick up Logan Thomas. Jonnu Smith also could be out there on the waiver wire. Jen, you are the best with the best information as always. So, folks, those are the players you should be targeting ahead of Week 6. For all of your fantasy football needs, including waiver wire, DFS, player props from the Princess of Props, and start him and sit him, check out si.com/fantasy.